Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our last presentation in our Evenings of Faith series. Our speaker this evening is Patrice Nerone. She has a master's degree in divinity and a master's in pastoral counseling, as well as advanced training in grief, trauma counseling, and what I've always been curious about, hypnotherapy. And she also has a nursing degree, so she has some experience in nursing also. But at Assumption, we know her as our pastoral counselor and a tremendous resource in the community, not only here in the parish, but also for the neighborhood. And tonight she's going to talk about something that lies at the very heart of Christian life and at the heart of the Paschal mystery that we're about to celebrate during Holy Week and Easter, and that is the gift of gratitude. And I remind you that as the presentation continues, at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little icon called Q&A. If something occurs to you or some question that you would like to ask Patrice about really anything, not just what she's talking about at the moment, feel free to write your comment, and that will be passed on to our moderator, which will be passed on to Patrice at the end of her presentation. So we're all very happy to have you here tonight. And whether you're joining us live or joining us on the replay on YouTube, we're happy now to present and turn the microphone over to Patrice Nerone.
Thanks for being here, and I hope you find this a meaningful evening. I wanted to start off by talking about a survey that you could do online for free called the Via Strengths Survey. It's 24 character strengths that build the 6 virtues. The virtues are characteristics valued by philosophers and theologians across time, cultures, and beliefs. And the 24 character strengths that were found by some researchers, these are the elements of our identity that lead to building the 6 virtues. Gratitude is one of the character strengths that falls under the virtue of transcendence, along with appreciation of beauty and excellence, hope, humor, and spirituality. Those are the other character strengths of the virtue transcendence. Transcendence has to do with knowing there are things we can never know or understand fully, recognizing the limitations of our knowledge, and then using that recognition in the service of good. It's often associated with looking outside ourselves, beyond the physical boundaries of this world, and ultimately to that which is divine. So, gratitude itself means recognizing, feeling a deep sense of thankfulness in life and taking the time to genuinely express this thankfulness to others. It involves the recognition that others' contributions to your life are a precious gift. Or it can involve recognition that certain events or experiences are a blessing in your life. Grateful people experience a variety of positive emotions which inspire them to act in more virtuous ways, to be more humble, more persistent, more kind, more loving, more empathetic. When you are at your best with gratitude, you appreciate the positive things in your life and you express this thankfulness to others both directly and often. You count your blessings and reflect on how you have lived your life. Your gratitude opens the door to other strengths such as kindness, hope, spirituality, and zest for living. Some questions that you reflect on when assessing your strength of gratitude could be, what is most rewarding to you about experiencing gratitude? When you fail to adequately express gratitude to another person, is it an oversight or do you intentionally hold it back? And if so, why? What concerns do you have, if any, in expressing gratitude to certain people? Sometimes there's people we don't necessarily want to be expressing gratitude to. They might be difficult people for us, but yet they might have done something helpful. And how about if someone does not express gratitude to you, does it make it less likely that you want to express gratitude toward them? And then also, have you ever paid attention to what effect does it have on other people when you do express gratitude? And so here's a quote from Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. There are three main components of gratitude: a warm sense of appreciation for somebody or something, a sense of goodwill toward that person or thing, and a disposition to act positively that flows from that appreciation and goodwill. Gratitude typically makes people more open to experience and more agreeable. When you are at your best with gratitude, you feel grateful for the positive things in your life, and you express thankfulness directly to others and often. You count your blessings regularly and reflect positively on how you have lived your life. So, why is gratitude valuable? Research findings on the benefits of the strength of gratitude include the following. Gratitude is one of the strengths most connected to the experience of a meaningful life. Gratitude contributes to physical and psychological health, such as better cardiovascular and immune system functioning. Gratitude is one of the 5 strengths most robustly linked to satisfaction and happiness. Grateful people have better exercise habits, positive moods, and sleep patterns. They are less likely to be depressed and more likely to engage in a wide range of behaviors aimed at helping others. Grateful people tend to have a greater goal achievement, optimism, enjoyment of work, and work calling. Among students, gratitude is associated with better grades. Gratitude has spiritual benefits as well, such as a feeling of interconnectedness with life, a general sense of responsibility toward others, and a reduced emphasis on material goods. Gratitude activities have been widely successful in boosting well-being and managing depression. So how do we build gratitude? Here's some questions for reflection. I have a lot of questions. There's more questions than answers here, but in a few minutes, we'll do an exercise. Right now, I just kind of want to read these questions to kind of get you thinking. So reflect on how strong gratitude is in you. What circumstances make it most likely you experience gratitude? What circumstances make it most likely you'll express gratitude? What is most rewarding about expressing gratitude? Does it feel more rewarding with some people more so than others? Are there people we haven't adequately expressed gratitude to, whether it's intentionally holding it back or was it an oversight? What concerns do you have when expressing gratitude to certain people? Sometimes I think, for myself, if I express gratitude, maybe someone will be have an expectation more so from me that I won't be able to live up to, or that it might reveal a weakness. If someone doesn't express gratitude, does it make us less likely to want to express gratitude to them if they don't express it to us? Yeah. Have you ever had the thought that, like, oh, I did something for someone and they didn't even thank me. Now, do I want to do it for them again? What effect does it have on people? What do you notice about people when you do express gratitude to them? And to what degree do you express gratitude to others out of a deep feeling of appreciation versus due to social convention, the expectation that you're supposed to express gratitude? And do you ever notice a difference between, well, I'm supposed to say thank you for this, but it wasn't something you really wanted, and so now I'm half-heartedly giving thanks for something that I didn't really want in the first place? I don't know about you all, but I've been there. So some actions like, well, here's an example of spotting the strength of gratitude. And I'm going to tell a little story about Gabriella. Developing an attitude of gratitude was a conscious, specific decision on her part. She was in the middle of a divorce. Her kids were 2 and 6. She had a full-time job and a house, lots of emotional and financial concerns, and everything was looking really bleak to her. She was grasping for something to hold on to. She was driving home from work when she turned up the street, and there was a magnificent sunset. And in that moment, she realized that that was the brightest spot of her day. She felt spiritually uplifted and was thinking that was just what she needed. And she wanted more of that. She wanted to know, how do I get more of that? And in the wondering, what she realized was that she was experiencing gratitude. That no matter how bad things seemed to be in her life, she still had a lot that was worth valuing and being grateful for. And when she realized that, a weight seemed to be lifted off of her shoulder. So now she plays a gratitude game. When she hears stories of other people who are having difficulties and struggling, she recalls things that are going well in her life, and she can feel grateful for those. She can feel grateful for the difficult times she has come through. But sometimes it's an exercise she has to deliberately make an effort at doing. She has to work on it. So it's a decision. She has to look in every nook and cranny Sometimes it's more elusive than others. Sometimes it's harder to spot. But one thing she realized was that those were the times when gratitude was the hardest to find. That's when it became the most helpful to her to experience it. We can practice gratitude in our personal relationships with friends and family, with coworkers, expressing gratitude to your coworker for something they did. We could write a little post-it notes at work. Thank you with a little smiley face on it or something. Put it on their desk so that when they come in the morning, they'll see that and it can brighten up their day. You could write down good things that have happened to you during the day and reflect on why those things happened. You could point out something from a family member, such as, well, my husband made me coffee this morning. My child made me toast. My neighbor picked up my mail for me. Someone opened the door for me. Someone smiled at me today. Smiled a greeting. These are all things that we could be conscious of, more conscious of noticing. We can thank service workers, the people who serve our food when we're at the cafeteria, the garbage man who picks up our trash, a store clerk, a restaurant worker, a bus driver who's just in a cheerful mood. These are all things that we can try to be mindful of. I'm sure you can think of many more. So now I want to tell you a little bit about something called Nikon therapy. Nikon therapy is a Japanese practice. The word means looking inside, or more specifically, seeing oneself with the mind's eye. It's a structured method of self-reflection that helps us to understand ourselves, our relationships, and the fundamental nature of human existence. To my way of thinking, it's kind of similar to the Ignatian Examen. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but it's a self-reflection tool. This Nikon was developed in Japan in the 1940s by a devout Buddhist of the Pure Land sect. His strong religious spirit led him to practice mishrabe, which is an arduous method of meditation and self-reflection. But he wanted to make this a method of introspection available to others that wasn't as strict, could be more widely practiced. So it became pretty popular in Japanese society. And there's many centers, mental health counseling uses it, addiction treatment, rehabilitation in prisons, can be used in schools and businesses. It's pretty well known in Europe as well. Places like Austria, Germany, Switzerland. Maybe not as well known here, so you may have never heard of it. It was introduced here in North America by a Dr. Reynolds in the 70s. And he's the first to offer programs and retreats based on it. So what it does is broaden our view of reality. And I like this description that they have here. It's as if standing on top of a mountain, we shift from a zoom lens to a wide angle lens. Now we can appreciate the broader panorama. Our former perspective is still included, but it is now accompanied by much that had been hidden. And what was hidden makes the view extraordinary. So Nikon reflection is based on 3 questions. The 3 questions are, what have I received from someone that you can think of in your life that you'd like to focus on? What have I given to this person? And what troubles and difficulties have I caused this person? These questions provide a foundation of reflecting on all relationships, including those with parents, friends, teachers, siblings, work associates, children, and partners. You can reflect on yourself in relation to your pets even, or an object such as a car or a piano. You can reflect on a certain period of time, a particular day or a holiday, a visit to your family. In each case, you can acquire a more realistic view of your conduct and the give and take that has occurred in the relationship. So the questions may seem rather simple, and they are, but the depth of experience and insight and realization that can come from the practice of self-reflection is not a result of intellectual analysis or complex theories. The challenge is just to see reality as it is. These questions are simple inquiries for our investigation of life's mysteries and miracles. So we can begin the inquiry with the first question. What have I received from? And Beth can post that. So if you want to put that question up, Beth, I'm just going to read a little bit about it. So to examine your relationship with another, begin by looking at what you have received from that person. My wife made me fresh squeezed orange juice this morning. She washed my breakfast dishes. She gave me the watch I'm wearing. These are all simple, clear descriptions of reality. Oh, I don't know if I'm on or not. I'm just going to keep talking.
You're good, Patrice. Keep going.
Oh, okay. I can't see anything. Sorry. Oh, where did I leave off? Okay. So these are all simple, clear descriptions of reality. So the wife's attitude and motivation does not change the fact that the spouse benefited from her effort. Often we take such things for granted. We hurry through our day, giving little attention to all the little things we are receiving. But are these things really little? They only seem so because while we're being supported, our attention is elsewhere. But when there's no hot water for shower, we lose our glasses, these little things grab our attention. Suddenly we are conscious of the true value of hot water and clear vision. We often live our life as if the world owes us. As you list what you have received from another person, you become grounded in the simple reality of how you have been supported and cared for. In many cases, you may be surprised at the length or importance of the items on your list, and a deeper sense of gratitude and appreciation may be naturally stimulated. Your heart and mind begin to open to the grace that underlies all life. Without a conscious shift of attention to the myriad ways in which the world supports us, we risk our attention being trapped by problems and obstacles, leaving us to linger in suffering and self-pity. So take a few minutes now to begin making a list of what you have received, thinking of maybe just this day here, this past day. And again, this type of daily reflection is called a Nikon. You're not limited to examining your relationship to one person. You can include anyone who supported you during the day. Be specific and write down as many things as you can remember. How did others support you? Did someone open a door, wash your dishes? Was there hot water and soap available? What made it possible for you to brush your teeth or drive a car? Where did you go? What did you eat? Who cooked it? When you're done, you can continue on to the second question, which is, what have I given? Yoshimoto was a businessman. Each month, he would send statements to his customers and receive similar statements from suppliers. These statements specified the products that were sent and the amount of money received. We might receive similar statements from our banks regarding our checking account, telling us to the penny the balance that's in our account. Yoshimoto believed it was useful to human beings to conduct a similar examination or life reconciliation. When you examine in detail what you have given and received, you can determine the balance. You can compare your giving or credit and your taking or debit in relation to a single person or between you and the rest of the world. You can examine a period of time ranging from a day to a decade. This process is both a practical and a spiritual reconciliation of our relationship with others. Does the world owe me, or do I owe the world? Am I in debt to my mother, or is she in debt to me? We often live our life as if the world owes us. Why didn't I get that raise? Why is the pizza late? How come I don't get more appreciation from my boss? We resent it when people don't fulfill our expectations and live as if we deserve what we desire. When people do support us, we often take their efforts for granted, living as if we were entitled to their support. As we reflect on our life, we begin to see the reality of our life. What is more appropriate, to go through life with the mission of collecting what is owed us, or to go through life trying to repay our debt to others? Suppose I discover that I'm the one who's in debt to the world. Such a realization kindles a natural desire to give and serve others and instills in me a greater sense of gratitude and realistic humility. So please take another couple minutes to make a list of what you've given to others during this past day. Perhaps you gave someone a ride or prepared dinner. Perhaps you sent a card to a friend. or picked up a piece of litter on the street. Try to be concrete and specific. Avoid generalizations like I was helpful or I was very supportive. What did you actually do for others? Did you hold the door open for anyone? Did you smile? Did you look someone in the eyes? So now you have a preliminary picture of your life for the past 24 hours or so. That's some important research. Looking at your list, have you been consistent? For example, if you indicated that you gave a smile or a thank you to someone, have you also listed all the smiles and thank yous that you received from others? If you cooked a meal, have you also noted what you had to receive in order to do that? The groceries, the utensils, the oven, the recipe. Would you change anything on your list to more accurately reflect the reality of your day? The third and final question is the most difficult. What troubles or difficulties have I caused? Mostly we are aware of how other people cause us inconveniences or difficulties. Perhaps somebody cut us off in traffic, or maybe the person in front of us at the post office had a lot of packages and we had to stand in line forever. We notice such incidences with great proficiency. But when we are the source of the trouble or inconvenience, we often don't notice it at all. Or if we do, we like to think it was an accident. I didn't mean it. I couldn't help it. Perhaps we simply dismiss it as it's not such a big deal. But this third question is truly important. Yoshimoto suggested that when we reflect on ourselves, we should spend at least 60% of the time considering how we have caused others trouble. His words are echoed by the lives of Franklin, Schweitzer, and St. Augustine. If we're not willing to see and accept those events in which we have been the source of others' suffering, then we cannot truly know ourselves or the grace by which we live. So take another couple minutes and make a list of the troubles and difficulties you have caused others in this past day. Did you criticize someone? Did you leave dirty dishes in the sink for someone else to wash? Did you keep someone waiting for a response to an email or a telephone call? Were you late for an appointment? Once again, be as specific as you can. So now you've examined just a very small slice of your life in just this one day in an attempt to see reality as clearly as possible. What can you learn from this exercise? If you look over your list and review them carefully, what are you aware of that you weren't aware of before? Are there any things that you've taken for granted? What would you like to do or need to do differently? So this simple daily reflection or Nikon can be done once a day. Like I said, much like the examine. We sometimes think we know our own life, but what we know is only an edited version, colored by our emotions and narrow vision. So by forcing ourselves to actually take a look at the truth, the reality, we begin to see a much broader vision and a much truer reality. And so that concludes my talk on gratitude.
Just want to thank Patrice again for her very insightful presentation tonight. God blessings to everyone.
I thank you.